Life Processes in Living Organisms Part 1. In this presentation, we will learn about the respiratory system and energy formation. The human respiratory system. It consists of the pharynx, the larynx, the voice box, the bronchioles, those are these branches, the tiny bag-like structures, balloon-like structures at the end of each bronchiole, which are the alveoli. This part over here under the rib cage, which is the diaphragm, each bronchi, right and left lung, the trachea, and the nasal cavity. Now, the human respiration takes place at two levels. First one is the body level, which you know about, that is what we call breathing, which has two stages, that is inhalation, taking in oxygen, and exhalation, which is giving out oxygen. Now the second level, which we are going to learn in this lesson, is the cellular level. It takes place in each and every cell of the body, where foodstuff are oxidized with oxygen in an aerobic manner or without the help of oxygen, which is called anaerobic respiration. The first stage of aerobic respiration or respiration in the presence of oxygen is called glycolysis, wherein glucose C6H12O6 is oxidized in 3 steps. In the first step, 2 molecules each, that is pyruvic acid, 2 molecules of ATP, 2 molecules of NADH2 and 2 molecules of water are formed. In the second step, molecules of pyruvic acid are converted into acetyl coenzyme A. The third step, 2 molecules of NADH2 and carbon dioxide are released in this process. Now you must know that NADH2, the full form is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, which is a coenzyme. It helps the enzymes to work properly. And ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, an energy-rich molecule. Now, glycolysis is also called EMP pathway. That is, 3 scientists, Emden, Meyerhoff and Parnas, they discovered this process called glycolysis, and hence it is named after them as EMP pathway. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell, that is the jelly-like liquid substance of the cell. The second step of aerobic respiration, that is tricarboxylic acid cycle. Both molecules of acetyl coenzyme A, which were formed in glycolysis, now enter the mitochondria. That is a cell organelle, which is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. Cyclic chain reactions take place in the mitochondria, after which the acetyl part of acetyl coenzyme A is completely oxidized. Okay. Molecules of carbon dioxide, water, NADH2 and FADH2 are obtained. Now, what is acetyl coenzyme A? It's a molecule whose function is to deliver the acetyl group to the Krebs cycle. Okay, tricarboxylic acid cycle is also known as Krebs cycle. Oxidized meaning combined with oxygen, and the full form of FADH2 is flavin adenine dinucleotide. Okay. Now this cycle is also called Krebs cycle after Sir Hans Krebs, or citric acid cycle. The third stage of aerobic respiration, which is electron transfer chain reaction. Okay. Here NADH2 and FADH2 participate in this reaction. 3 molecules of ATP are got from each molecule of NADH2, and FADH2 gives us 2 molecules of ATP from each of its molecule. Water molecules are formed in this reaction. Now, this electron transfer chain reaction, it takes place only in the mitochondria of the cell. Now, let us see this flowchart on aerobic respiration. We have lipids. Lipids is a group of natural substances which do not dissolve in water. Okay, fats are part of lipids. So we have different food nutrients like lipids, carbohydrates and proteins. We were just learning how carbohydrates undergo glycolysis and Krebs cycle and electron chain transfer. Okay, so carbohydrates, the first one is glycolysis, where pyruvic acid is formed. Then the acetyl part of coenzyme A goes into Krebs cycle, and ultimately we get the products carbon dioxide, water and energy. Okay, now lipids or fats turn to fatty acids, straight away to acetyl coenzyme A, and then the same thing happens, and proteins get converted into amino acids. Therefore, in aerobic respiration, a molecule of glucose is completely oxidized and carbon dioxide and water are produced along with energy. Now, anaerobic respiration. This is respiration without the presence of oxygen. Glycolysis and fermentation are 2 steps of this type of respiration. You know, in aerobic respiration, we had glycolysis, Krebs cycle and electron chain transfer reaction. Now here we have only 2 stages, that is glycolysis and fermentation. Okay. Glycolysis, where we get pyruvic acid, straight away after that fermentation. Okay. Now in yeast, fermentation takes place, alcohol is formed, and in the muscle cells of our body, when there is less of oxygen, anaerobic respiration takes place and lactic acid is formed. Now here in aerobic respiration, glucose is incompletely oxidized. It is not completely oxidized. And in anaerobic respiration, less amount of energy is obtained compared to aerobic respiration. Now we know something about aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. Let us quickly differentiate between the two. Now in aerobic respiration, oxygen is present, whereas in anaerobic respiration, oxygen is absent. Here gases are exchanged in aerobic respiration, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide, whereas in anaerobic respiration gases are not exchanged. Aerobic respiration is found in cytoplasm and mitochondria, whereas anaerobic respiration takes place only in the cytoplasm. Now, glucose breaks down into carbon dioxide and water, whereas in anaerobic respiration, glucose breaks down into ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. In aerobic respiration, all higher organisms such as mammals, have aerobic respiration, whereas lower organisms such as bacteria and yeast use anaerobic respiration. It must be said that higher organisms also undergo anaerobic respiration when there is depletion of oxygen in the surroundings. I would like to add one more over here, and that is that Glucose is completely oxidized in aerobic respiration, whereas glucose is incompletely oxidized in anaerobic respiration. Okay, now this concept map will help you to memorize the important steps in both types of respiration. Now, this is called cellular respiration. The two types of cellular respiration are aerobic, where oxygen is involved, and anaerobic respiration, where oxygen is not involved. Let us go with anaerobic respiration first, which has only two steps, that is glycolysis and fermentation. Whereas aerobic respiration has three steps: glycolysis, which takes place in the cytoplasm, tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle, or citric acid cycle, which takes place in the mitochondria, and electron transfer chain reaction, which also takes part in the mitochondria. In glycolysis, we have two molecules of pyruvic acid, ATP, NADH2 and H2O, which are formed. In tricarboxylic acid cycle, acetyl coenzyme A gets oxidized and carbon dioxide, water, NADH2, FADH2 are formed. Whereas in the electron transfer chain reaction, three molecules of ATP obtained from NADH2 and two molecules of ATP are obtained from FADH2. Plus, we get carbon dioxide, water and energy. Energy is not only derived from carbohydrates. Yes, carbohydrates give us 4 kilocalories of energy per 1 gram. That is, if I eat 100 grams of carbohydrates, I get 400 kilocalories of energy. But we have other food components like proteins, which also give us energy. Now, proteins are macromolecules formed by many amino acids, and like carbohydrates, we get 4 kilocalories of energy per gram of proteins. Now, the amino acids obtained from proteins are melanin and keratin in the skin, osmium in the bones, hemoglobin in the blood, insulin in the pancreas. Okay, and these, when we have excess of amino acids which are got from the proteins, they are not stored in the body. They are broken down, and the ammonia formed by this breaking down of amino acids is eliminated or thrown out of the body. Now, if your body needs this energy or the proteins, the amino acids, then this excess of proteins are converted into other useful substances like glucose. And that process is called gluconeogenesis. Now, plants produce amino acids from minerals de novo. De novo means starting all over again. And thereby they produce different proteins. You know that plants are autotrophic. They prepare their own food. Okay. Now, an enzyme which is called rubisco, this is important, is present in plant chloroplasts and is the most abundant, most available protein found in nature. We also have energy which is got from fat or lipids. What are lipids? Substances formed by chemical bond of fatty acids and alcohol. Now, fats or lipids give us 9 kilocalorie of energy per gram. Vitamins are another important nutrient required by the body for optimum health. Okay. Vitamins are a group of compounds essential for proper operation of various processes in the body. They are required in very small amounts, but if they are not present, the body doesn't function well. Now, there are many vitamins like vitamins A, D, E and K, which are fat soluble, whereas vitamins B and C, they dissolve easily in water. Apart from that, we have many other vitamins, but vitamin B2 and B5 are necessary for the production of those coenzymes which you just learnt about, that is NADH2 and FADH2. Now, these are some of the food stuff that give you vitamins. Other important nutrients. There is about 65 to 70% water in our body. Our body feels strong. There are bones in our body, okay, which are solid. But actually the body is made up of 65 to 70% of water. Each cell of the body contains 70% water by weight. The plasma of blood, the liquid portion of component of blood, also contains 90% of water. Okay. Now, the functioning of the cells, and therefore if the functioning of the cells is disturbed, the whole body gets disturbed, even if there is a little loss of water from the body. Okay. We can also get into this condition called dehydration, which is water loss from the body, and hence water is a very essential nutrient. Along with all these other nutrients we have mentioned, vitamins and fats and proteins, now water, we have another nutrient which is fiber. We cannot digest these fibers. However, they help in the digestion of other food substances, and they also help in the throwing out or egestion of undigested substances. And from where do we get fibers? From leafy vegetables, fruits, and cereals. So this is water. Okay, we need to maintain the optimum amount of water in the body, and the food substances that give you fiber. So we come to the end of this unit in lesson 2, where the types of respiration and food components and their importance were discussed. Remain curious and keep learning. Thank you.